Care Bears, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some items in my collection that I just don't ever reach for. And yet, when I'm doing a declutter, I always spare them. I don't know why. I've actually filmed this video before, but I neglected to set the mic up properly, so you got all the visuals, but there was no audio. And I didn't want to do a voiceover because I knew that the dubbing would be like just so distracting and so annoying. So when I filmed it the first time, I was trying to come up with reasons, and after every product, I just kept saying like, I don't know. So I'm gonna spare you from that redundancy. And let's just start off by saying I don't really know why I don't use these items all that often. I just don't. I don't know why I keep them. I just do. So there is the blanket explanation to this video. So this is really just a show and tell. So why don't we start showing and telling in no particular order. Let's just start off with a brush. It's just a standard fan brush. This is the Sigma F42. It's quite narrow. This is like, I think it'd be best for like highlighting, things like that. I have used it in the past, but I've not used it in recent memory. I can't remember the last time I used it. And I did do a brush declutter a little while ago, and I really hemmed and hawed about this one, and ultimately I kept it. I think the reason that I kept it is because I don't have any other fan brushes, and so I feel like I'm somehow vulnerable if I don't keep it, because then what if I really need a fan brush? But I've been doing makeup for like, I don't know, 6-7 years now, and I've never really needed a fan brush. I can't explain my actions, but I have a fan brush on standby in case I ever need it. I have 4 liquid lipsticks from Maybelline. I'm going to count them as one item. These are the Maybelline, what are they? Superstay Matte Inks. And at the very beginning of my channel, like it might have been maybe my 3rd or 4th video, I did a review on these and I raved about them because of the longevity of them. And I stand by that. However, since that time, I have tried more and more liquid lipstick formulas, and I've come to realize that these really are just very, very sticky. They are very long lasting, but they are very sticky on the lips. I've gotten rid of most of the ones that I had, but clearly I've kept these 4. So we have Creator, we have Explorer, a light pink called Dreamer, and it looks kind of red, but it's like a hot corally pink, and this one is called Heroine. And honestly, I think the reason that I'm keeping these 4 is because I really like the shades of them. I just think they're really pretty, fun shades. And I know when I wear them that they're going to lock into place and they are going to last forever. Which is kind of good, especially when you have like a really dark color. I don't really like wearing really dark colors from a bullet simply because they tend to wear off really quickly. And then you're left with like a lot of patchiness and it just doesn't look very great. And then I'm just like self-conscious about it and constantly touching up. Whereas I know this one's gonna like lock into place and it's there for the long haul. But having said that, I really just don't ever reach for them. I love the colors of these, but I don't like the formula all that much anymore. So, I don't know. The next item kind of surprises me that I don't use it because it is kind of a cult favorite, and that is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. I've had this for ages. I have gotten some fairly good use out of it, but I can't remember the last time I used it. When I think of neutral palettes, this one just doesn't even pop into my head anymore. I'm not sure why. It has a good range of tones inside of it. It has a couple little pops of color. I wouldn't really say that they're pops per se, but there's a pink and there's some purples. So there is a little bit of variety in there. It's not just browns and creams, but I just never think to reach for this one. I don't know what it is. I know a lot of people like focus on this palette in particular as like a pan that palette kind of challenge, and I am not going to do that to myself because I'm not good at those projects. I'm just not. And with this many shades, I know that I would not stick to it. but I really should get some use out of it, or at least try it again, because I did really love it at one point. It's just, it lives in a drawer and I never bring it out anymore. And I don't know why. I said I wasn't going to say this whole I don't know why thing, and yet here we are. So I apologize. Highlighter from Fenty Beauty. This one is in the shade Confetti, and it's one of their, what are these called? Matchsticks, I think they're called. Yes. It is very pretty. It is an iridescent kind of highlighter. This was one of their like original shades that they had. You can see there, it's one of those like duochrome kind of highlighters that were all the rage a couple of years ago, which is when I bought this. And it is very pretty. But I tend not to have the need for an iridescent highlighter in my life. And this one does have like little flecks of micro glitter. Like I really don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but it does have little flecks of micro glitter. It's not gritty at all, and I wouldn't even go so far as to say that it is glittery. It just has these little tiny, tiny particles in it. I don't ever use it as a highlighter, and I really don't see that I'm going to start, but perhaps as an eyeshadow. I have worn it as an eyeshadow in the past, so I'll give it a try again and see what I think of it in that way. Another palette that I really just don't bring out for whatever reason is from Laura Mercier, and this is one of their Eye Art Artist palettes. It's a terrible name. I hate the name of it. But it is a very pretty, cool-toned palette. And some of the shades in here are really quite unique, especially this one right here. It's really, really pretty. I don't tend to gravitate towards cool-toned looks all that often. I don't dislike them, and I do have other cool-toned palettes, but it just doesn't come top of mind when I'm thinking of like, what do I want to do today with my makeup? I rarely think, I'd really like to rock a cool-toned eye look. And that is why I think this one gets ignored, because it is very, very pretty, and the shadows are quite nice to work with. But I think it's just the color story that it's not super inspiring to me. Sort of on the flip side, I have an item that I love the color of. I truly love the color of it, but I just never wear it. And it is from Lime Crime. Actually, it kind of matches my shirt. It's pretty darn close. This is one of their eyeliners. Yes, Lime Crime at one point did sell eyeliners. This thing has to be a biohazard. It just has to be. It is years old. And it is a liquid eyeliner. It is still liquidy, like it hasn't turned chunky, it hasn't dried up. It is so pretty, like this nice baby blue, robin egg blue, I guess. It's just, I really don't have much need for an eyeliner of this color. It's not something that I would wear to work. I just really don't wear it very often at all. I should get rid of it, but I've never come across another eyeliner of this color, so I don't even know what I could replace it with. Again, not that I wear it very often, but it's one of those, like, I keep it more for the comfort of knowing that it's there, so that if I am creating some sort of pastel look or whatever, and I'm thinking, you know what, I really need like a baby blue eyeliner with this, then I have it. Probably gonna lose an eyeball one day, but there it is. The next item is a single eyeshadow from NARS, and this is in the shade Dion, and it's one of their dual intensity eyeshadows. Again, I've had this for ages, and I have gotten some very good use out of it. It's really pretty. It's almost like got a bit of a purple undertone, but it is a really pretty taupey kind of shade. You can see it there. It's very reflective, very metallic. You can use it dry, you can use it wet. It's just going to increase the like metallicness of it if you wet your brush with it. I just don't use it. Honest to God, I think it's just the fact that it's a single. I tend not to reach for my singles very often. It's a shame because I have some really pretty ones, including this one. But every time I go through my collection and I declutter, I keep this one. Just because it's such an easy all over the lid shade, like one and done, and yet I just never think to use it. So I'm in the process of reorganizing how I store my makeup, and I think that my singles need to come to the surface. Like they're like fourth drawer down, and they need to be top drawer so that when I pull it out, they're right there front and center, and I think I'd get a lot more use out of them that way. So as I am reorganizing, I'm keeping that in mind because I do have hidden gems in my collection that just don't get the love that they deserve. And then I have items that I've just completely forgotten whether or not I actually like them because it's been so long since I used them. For example, this foundation from YSL with some French name that I will just massacre. Le Teint Encre de Peau, I believe. I can't even remember what the English equivalent of it was. I don't remember if I like this. I obviously didn't love it, or else I would have kept using it, and I obviously didn't hate it, or else I wouldn't have kept it every time I do declutters. I will say, I don't like that it doesn't come with the pump, particularly for the price that I paid for this. So it just has this like actually very frustrating little wand here that you use. It doesn't hold a lot of product. Like I would prefer if it was a doe foot, to be honest, but it's just this like hard plastic, and you got to go back in and, you know, fuss around with it quite a bit. I think when you're charging like $60 for a bottle of foundation, including the pump, it's really just value added. So I need to try it. I need to work with this again to see if it's still holding up at this point, because I don't remember when I bought it. Let's see, does it smell horrific? It smells a little bit alcohol-y, which you can't say is a bad smell. But yeah, like it's not off-putting or anything, it just doesn't have that typical YSL like overly fragranced scent. So again, my foundations live on the fourth drawer of my Alex drawer system, so I need to bump them up higher so that I remember what I have and I can sort of put everything back into a rotation so I don't forget if I like something. If you've been a follower for quite some time, you might remember that last year, just before Christmas, Givenchy came out with a highlighter. And I did one of my new release videos and I geeked the hell out over this thing. I don't know why. The packaging just like had my heart. It was just so chic and classic looking, and then you open it up and the highlighter has this gorgeous star embossed on it, comes with a little brush, all that good stuff. And I was prepared to do dirty things in order to have this highlighter. I don't know, it spoke to me. And Barry, the wonderful little bean that he is, bought it for me for Christmas. Surprised the shit out of me. I really did, because I did not expect that at all. I still love the packaging. I still love the star. I still love the idea of it. I still love that my husband remembered it and bought it for me. I'm not wild on the highlighter. I'm really not. It is quite glittery. And so it just, the base pigment of it, so it's not super reflective. The base pigment of it tends to sort of fall away very quickly, and then you're just left with little bits of glitter all over your cheeks. So the formula of it itself, I'm not super keen on. This is one that I have used as an eyeshadow before and like use setting spray to dampen it down. It works fairly well that way. But I can't part ways with it because it's got so much sentimental value to me, and I really do like the packaging. It's very plain. I get it. Probably not everybody's cup of tea, but it just looks so luxe to me. I don't know what it is. It's just the aesthetic of it, it gets me. But the highlighter itself is not fantastic. So I don't know. I can't get rid of it. I love it, and I love sort of the story behind it. So that is, I know why I keep this one, and that is precisely it. Last up is one more eyeshadow palette, and it is from Violet Voss. This is, which one is this? This is the hashtag palette. My shirt just came undone. That's not great. There we go. Hashtag palette. This one is very pretty. I really do like the color story going on in here. I never use it. I did use it a fair amount when I first got it. I did, God, it's got to be at least a year and a half ago, I would imagine. Maybe closer to 2 years ago. Have a video on it. Probably not going to link it because finding it's going to be a pain in the butt. I distinctly remember when I used it for that video that I had a very difficult time with the black. I do remember that. It was very difficult to blend out. So didn't like it for that. I love the color story going on in here, but the shimmers don't stay shimmery throughout the day. And if there's only one or two, that really wouldn't be a problem, but there are, like this entire row is shimmers. There's quite a few in this row and then more down here. That's a lot of shimmers for them to not be fantastic. And that's why I just tend not to reach for it that much. There are shades in here, like standalone shades, that knock it out of the park. In particular, this one right here. So I could probably just like rip it apart and depot what I really like and just get rid of the rest, but I don't, and I haven't, and I don't know why. It's a lot of effort, maybe. I'm worried about ruining like the 3 shades that I really, really like in here. But I was disappointed with the performance of the metallics. The more I used them, the more disappointed I became. I think that they have improved their formula over time because I do have palettes that came out after this one that I really like from Violet Voss. But this palette just isn't all that great, and yet I keep it. And I have tried to declutter it so many times. I've even like got it into the declutter pile only to just fish it back out and say, I'm gonna use you. And then it's made its way into this video because I haven't. So, I don't know. How many times have I said, I don't know in this video? I don't know. See what I did there? Anyways, that's the entire video. That's it. There's no take-home message here. There's no moral of the story. It's just, I've got shit kicking around in my collection that I'm probably never going to use, and I'm just going to keep holding on to. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the items in your collection that fit the same category? Because I'm sure we all have a couple items that like we know we're probably not going to use, but we really just don't want to get rid of for whatever reason. Guilt over the money we spent on them or the sentimental value behind them, whatever the case may be. Let me know down below and we'll just have a little chit chat about it. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.